Whenever you have a foreign key in a table, you need to set the constraints on that foreign key. And that basically protects your data from getting corrupted. So here I've got the enrollments table open. How many foreign keys do we have here? We have two foreign keys. One is the student ID that references the student ID in the students table. And the other is the course ID that references the course ID in the courses table. Now, the combination of these two columns forms the primary key in this table, okay? Now, if you look down below, we have this tab, Foreign Keys. Here you can see we have two foreign keys in this table. Each foreign key has a name. By convention, we use FK, underline foreign key table, underline primary key table. So the first foreign key is for the relationship between the enrollments and the students table. So you can see this foreign key is referencing the students table. The second foreign key is enrollments to courses 1. Now, sometimes MySQL automatically adds a 1 or a 2 at the end to prevent this name from clashing with another foreign key in this database, because all foreign keys have this name, and this name has to be unique in your database. Now, currently, we haven't really generated anything, and we're dealing with only 3 simple tables. I know that we don't have another foreign key with this name. So I'm going to rename this and remove 1 from the end. That is better. Now look at the first foreign key. This foreign key is on the student ID column in this table. Now look at the right side. Here we have 2 drop-down lists for what should happen when the corresponding record in our parent table gets updated or deleted. For example, what should happen when the ID of a student changes from 1 to 2? Well, earlier I told you that we should not change primary keys. That's considered a bad practice. But in the unlikely event that the primary key of a table changes, we want to make sure that the foreign key table is updated. So if the ID of a student changes from 1 to 2, we want to make sure that all the enrollments for that student also get updated, so they reference student ID 2. So in this drop-down list, we select Cascade. And with this, MySQL will automatically update the records in the child table if the primary key changes. And here we have a few other options. One is Restrict, and this will reject the update from happening. The other option is to set null. So if the ID of a student changes, this will set this foreign key to null. And with this, we'll end up with the child record, in this case, the enrollment, that doesn't have a parent. We call this an orphan record. We don't want to have any orphan records in our database because orphan records are bad data. We don't know who this enrollment is for. So most of the time, you never use this option unless in very specific scenarios. And the last one is no action. And this is exactly the same as restrict. It prevents or rejects the update operation. Now, what about the delete scenario? What should happen when we delete a student? Well, we can set this to Cascade, and this means the enrollments for the student will automatically get deleted by MySQL. Shall we do it? It depends. Depends on the context. In this case, we are storing financial information in the enrollments table. So we're storing the price each student paid to enroll in a course. If we delete the enrollments of our students, we're not going to be able to answer questions like how much we have sold over time or what courses were popular. So in this case, we want to prevent this delete from happening. In other words, if a student has at least one enrollment in this database and we try to delete that student, we want MySQL to prevent or reject the delete operation. So back to our foreign key constraints panel, I'm going to set the value for onDelete to restrict or no action. Both these will reject the delete operation. So whenever you have a foreign key, you need to set these 2 constraints and tell MySQL what should happen when the primary key gets updated or deleted. As a rule of thumb, we should always cascade on update. And for delete, it really depends. Most of the time, you want to reject the delete operation because you don't want to lose data. But in some cases, it doesn't really matter. It's okay to cascade delete. For example, let's say we have an application for people to set reminders for themselves. So they sign up, create an account, and set reminders. If someone deletes their account, we probably don't care about their reminders. We want to delete them. But don't take this as a hard and fast rule. You should always check with the business. That's why I told you it's really important to understand the business requirements. Maybe the business says, no, we don't want to delete any reminders because we want to use them to create reports on historical data. So always check with the business. Now we need to apply the constraints for the other foreign key. Course ID. So I'm going to set update to cascade and delete to no action. So if a course has at least one enrollment record, we should not be able to delete that course unless we delete the enrollment first.